This tunnel machine was built to move through the earth, but then it got trapped underground. And the problem was not just that it stopped. The problem was where it stopped. It was not trapped beside the project. It was trapped inside the project. You cannot tow it out, you cannot lift it away. You cannot just open a door and repair it, because this machine was buried inside the tunnel it was supposed to create. This was Bertha, a giant tunnel boring machine working beneath Seattle. And when it stopped underground, the project did not just lose a machine, it lost its only way forward. Because before engineers could fix the machine, they first had to reach it. And that is how a machine built to create access through the ground became the bottleneck that needed access created toward itself. A tunnel boring machine is not like normal construction equipment. It is not parked next to the project. It is not waiting on the surface. It is not something you can simply move aside when it fails. A tunnel boring machine works at the front of the tunnel. Behind it, the tunnel begins to exist. But ahead of it, there is no finished tunnel, no easy road, no open workshop, just ground. That is why Bertha was so dangerous. Bertha was not blocking a road. It was blocking the project's only unfinished path. And this is the part most people miss. This story is not really about Seattle, and it is not really about one machine failure. It is about what happens when the one object the whole project depends on becomes trapped inside the system it was building. The repair was not just fixing the machine. The repair was reaching the machine. Most construction machines can fail without trapping the entire project. A crane can be replaced, a truck can be moved, an excavator can be pulled away. But a tunnel boring machine is different. It is not working beside the project. It is working inside the only path the project has. Everything follows the machine, the workers, the tunnel lining, the equipment, the schedule. Behind it, the project can organize itself. Concrete segments can be installed. Material can be removed. Ventilation, power, and logistics can move forward. But in front of the machine, there is nothing the project can use yet. There is only ground. That is why the machine is not just equipment. It is the moving front of the entire project. And when that front stops, the project does not simply route around it. The tunnel ends where the machine stops. Bertha did not stop outside the project. It stopped inside the only path the tunnel had. The real bottleneck was not just the damaged machine. The real bottleneck was reaching it. Because the machine did not fail in a workshop. It did not fail on the surface. It failed underground. Inside the tunnel, it was still creating. That changes the repair completely. Before engineers could fix the machine, they first had to reach the buried front of the project. And underground, reaching that point can become harder than the repair itself. You cannot open a garage door. You cannot drive a mechanic up to the cutter head. You cannot lift the machine out overnight. The machine was buried inside the project. So the project had to create a new way to reach the machine that was supposed to create the way forward. To fix the bottleneck, engineers first had to build access to the bottleneck. That is the paradox. Before the project could keep digging forward, it had to start digging toward its own machine. The repair was not just fixing the machine. The repair was reaching the machine. And once reaching the machine becomes the bottleneck, money alone cannot instantly solve the problem. A project can have funding. It can have contractors. It can have engineers. It can have public pressure. It can have urgency. But underground, urgency does not remove rock. Money can buy more workers. Money can buy more equipment. Money can buy more shifts. But it cannot instantly create access underground. Until the machine can be reached, everything behind it starts waiting. The tunnel waits. The schedule waits. The contractors wait. The budget absorbs delay. The whole project moves at the speed of the hardest point to reach. The cost was not only the damaged machine, it was everything waiting behind it. That is why a buried machine can become more powerful than the plan around it. The machine did not just stop construction, it became the point that controlled construction. Because when the only way forward is trapped underground, the people who can reach that point control the speed of everything behind it. This is where the story changes. Bertha did not just break down, and it did not just stop moving. It stopped in the one place where stopping mattered most, inside the tunnel. Inside the path. Inside the only route the project had. At that point, the bottleneck was no longer just a part. It was a place, a buried point underground that the entire project had to reach before anything could move forward again. The machine did not just get trapped inside the tunnel got trapped behind the machine. That is the real bottleneck. Not only the damaged equipment, but the physical ability to reach the one point where progress had stopped. Because when the only way forward is underground, whoever can reach the stopped point controls the speed of everything behind it. And that is the lesson beyond tunnels. Megaprojects do not only fail because they are too big. They fail when progress depends on one physical point that becomes impossible to reach quickly. One buried machine became the point the entire project had to obey. Money matters. But underground, access matters more. Because when progress depends on one buried machine, the real power belongs to whoever can reach the point where everything stopped. In a megaproject, power concentrates where progress physically stops. And this is the industry code.